I was going to do a little tailgate meeting, but it's pretty windy outside right now, kind of cold. So I figured I'd have a little meeting with you guys about this stuff. It's so weird. I was talking to one of my customers today, and he called me up, and he's upset and whatever. And I'm going to tell you guys something about the internet and how that it has changed our business, and sometimes it's just pretty screwed up. So this was the question today: is a guy called me up. I said, I wrote in the contract I'm using Acrobon 3000. It's 100% acrylic, self-priming, lines right up with Dunn Edwards Sparta Shield flat. Now Dunn Edwards also has Evershield flat, which is kind of a sheeny product, which is kind of an elite product they have. It's kind of like, nobody ever uses it type of thing. A few people do. And if you want the sheen on your stucco, then you can use that stuff. And it doesn't really line up because it's not 100% acrylic self-priming. It actually requires primer. So there's a whole bunch of different things that go along with that. So anyway. So, the guy calls me up, oh man, you're using this Vista and it's cheaper paint and, it's not as good as. I said, wait a minute. I said, look, I've been doing this for 35 years. I should be telling you what product is the best one for your job. Well, they have, and the guy has good intentions. I mean, I understand he's upset and wants everything the best or whatever, and honestly, if somebody says, oh, hey, I want the absolute best paint you can buy, period. I'm going to use Benjamin Moore Aura. It's going to cost you, $3,000 versus $800 for material. And I'm going to have to charge you an extra, $2,200 to paint your job. And is it really going to last that much longer than the other? You might, you're looking at maybe 2 years, maybe, between one best product and another best product. Same thing with the Evershield, Dunn Edwards Evershield. Is it going to last another, 1 or 2 years? And can I do that for the same budget as the other price? No, and the answer is no, hell no. Not for today's prices. You can't do that. You guys know you can't do that. So what happens is people do this research and they become the expert because there's something called the internet now, and people can just look up all kinds of stuff and figure out that you're just a dumbass painter and you don't know anything, and because you're just a dumbass painter, and they're experts because they read on the internet. The thing is, that is just flat out wrong. Okay. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. Dunn Edwards also has a product called Sparta Shield VA, which is a vinyl acrylic. And one guy goes to the paint store and he buys the vinyl acrylic, like the guy that painted the house next door to my house, another house. I watched him paint. It was a rehab house, and the house is, the south facing wall is like, the paint is just like eroding away. I mean, it's coming off, and it's only been up there 4 years. So, what guys do is they buy that cheap product, and that is not a terrible product. The problem is the people who apply it are terrible. Okay. And so people think, well, this product's no good because it's a vinyl acrylic. No, it's no good because the guy put 2.5 freaking gallons of water in a 5, and it still covers. And he can make it look good, and it'll cover, even though it's got 2.5 gallons to a 5. And, he can do the thing on half the amount of materials that someone else can do it. So, of course, he gets the job, and people think, oh, I got a deal. Okay, what a deal is somebody that does the job right. It lasts, and so anyway, I finally talked him into understanding that, listen, I'm not doing a shortcut cheap job on your house. I'm doing a good job. I'm giving you a cheap price, and just leave it at that. You're getting a good deal already, and so anyway, he went his own way with everything, and everything was fine. But what I'm telling you guys is today is just like people we're just dumb painters. We are just dumb painters to people. And the internet is much smarter than us, is what they think. And it's not right. It's not fair. It's not good. And, it just makes me not want to do houses anymore. I don't just go, fuck houses. I'll just keep doing my commercial stuff. If the guy had any idea that in 4 days I work on his house, I make that much in 3 hours normally, it's like, dude, you're just like way out of line here, But, he doesn't know that. They don't believe you. Even if you tell them, they just look at you like, what? Nah, no way. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, try and stay motivated even when this happens. People look at the internet and they think they're, experts now on paint because they read a bunch of different things, and they think, and they look at one product and they say, well, this product is no good. And the product isn't that bad. It's actually the person putting it on. Now, I remember, for instance, that same product. I remember back years ago, I was doing some really budget homes, and I was painting with that product. And I didn't put maybe a half a gallon of water in a 5 to make it, spray a little bit better. And I put it on really good and heavy, and the stuff lasted 10 years. I mean, that's how long the other stuff lasts. So let's say you get a really high-end product and it lasts 10 years, and you get a really cheap product. If you apply it right, it still lasts 10 years. It's just the painter. If the guy's a cheater, if he's putting on cheap coats and he's putting on really cheap, everything really, really low end and cheap, everything's all the worst stuff, then that's what happens. Then you get garbage paint jobs, and they don't last. So you have to trust the person you're doing business with. That's what it all comes down to is, look, when people don't trust you, and that's the problem. You can do all the research you want on the internet. You can check every little thing on the internet. If that product is not applied correctly, then you're not going to get a good job. So it's not, we're not just people with a brush in our hand that rose our right hand and said, today I'm a painter. We're people who are experts at our field, who know how to apply the product correctly to get it to last. So even if you use a cheaper paint, sometimes you can make that paint last a lot longer than what the actual manufacturer will, state it to last. Another thing is you go to Home Depot, for instance, and you go in there and you look up on the shelf and it says 20-year paint. 20-year paint. Well, how many actual paint jobs that are in California sun last 20 years? You show me one that lasts 20 years. Okay, and let's say, be fair. A blue house? No. A red house? No. A house maybe in the earth tones? It'll still be in the earth tones. It's going to be faded as hell. And if it's not falling off the wall, I'd be totally surprised. All those little things that people put on the paint, 20-year paint, 30-year paint, and then you go to get the warranty and they go, oh, well, you're not around, or, they don't have a warranty. It's just a 20-year estimated time is what they put on them now. They don't even put warranties on them. They used to give you warranties years ago. They give you a 20-year paint warranty, and you go down to the paint store and you go, yeah, look, it's failing. Look, and the guy go, oh, wow, okay, here's your gallon. Here it is. Here's a gallon of paint. You go, well, aren't you going to have to do the whole house? No, it's failing from right here to right there. Here's your gallon. That's how they used to handle it. And so all those things they put on the paint cans, all that stuff you get on the internet is just not good information. Don't use it as a reference. If a customer looks at it and they have them watch this video, that is just wrong. That stuff is not really good information to go by. All right, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.